Assalamu alaikum. So, in today's topic, I'm going to talk a little bit about the AI. And we have been hearing a lot about AI over the past few months and the years, especially since the ChatGPT came out. Focus of this discussion will be how it has evolved from the past and what we have in present and what may be coming in the future. There will be a little bit of technical discussion, but I will try to discuss it in a way so that we can all understand and kind of benefit from it, and understand that when we are interacting with ChatGPT or other AI tools, how some of those tools are actually working in the behind the scene, and that helps us to understand those tools better and utilize those better. So let's take a quick look at the history of AI, and I'm calling it incomplete history because there are a lot of things that may have happened in the middle that I'm kind of like skipping over in the interest of time. But in the 50s, Alan Turing, one of the computer scientists, coined the term. He proposed a test, for the machine intelligence. It was called Turing test. The test kind of like goes like this. Let's say that I'm a human, and in front of me there is a computer and there is a human that I need to interact with, and I will be asking them questions. And I do not know which one is which. They are like hidden. And if the computer passes all of the questions that I have asked it, and satisfied my answers, or give me the answer satisfactorily, then we'll just say that okay, it has passed the Turing test. So basically, the machine has to kind of mimic what the human can do and give answers satisfactorily. This is how it kind of like started the machine intelligence and the AI intelligence, era, started that time. In 1956, John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence. And in 1964, MIT, created a chatbot called Eliza. This was a pattern-based matching, chatbot. So, if you give it a pattern, it looks for the pattern and then it will answer back. Between 1967 and 1997, there was a bit of pause in the AI space. People were not convinced that it was going to be something useful, so there was not that many investment. Universities did not have much grant to do the researches and things. So we call that actually AI winter between the 1967 and around 1997. Even though there were like some smaller things happened, but not very large scale. In 2006, Fifi Lei, who is she's considered as the great grandmother of artificial intelligence. In Stanford, she created an algorithm for ImageNet for computer vision. So basically, this vision algorithm would be able to understand from an image what kind of image it is. For example, if you give it a cat image, it will say, oh, it's a cat. If you give it a dog image, it will say, oh, it's a dog, and so on and so forth. Now, going back a little bit farther, in the 2017, this is when a big change happened. The big change happened is that Google released a algorithm, or actually they released a paper. It's called "Attention is All You Need." In the paper, they described an algorithm and a model called Transformer. It's a deep learning architecture that has a thing called attention mechanism, and we will look into that, what that means a little bit later. And that is the kind of the foundation of all of the modern generative AI tools that we are seeing in front of us, whether it be ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and so on and so forth. And 2022, as we all know, ChatGPT or OpenAI came out with ChatGPT, which was revolutionary. This was the first time where people could interact with an artificial tool, an artificial intelligence tool, and in their natural language, and get answers back in natural language. This really revolutionized the AI space, and people actually got interested more in this space. Before it was like more like everybody was, oh yeah, there's a machine learning, oh yeah, there's AI, but not that many people knew or were able to hands-on using it. Now, with this chat interface, everybody had a chance. It kind of like democratized AI, and it became, it came to everybody, to the masses. So after ChatGPT, now what we are seeing is the Gemini, VO3, Sora, Dolly, and these are all tools which are using artificial intelligence to do a variety of tasks. Like VO3 can generate videos, content, generate content based on your prompt, based on a request that you can say. You can say, okay, give me a video of a golden retriever walking in the park, for example, and it will generate a video from it, from scratch. So it's amazing stuff. And now we are also seeing another kind of revolution. We are calling it the rise of agents. Rise of agents is basically where the AI-based applications are working autonomously to do certain things. And we'll talk a little bit about that also later.
So,
yes.
Are you taking questions?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Please stop me anytime.
You should make it after that, please.
Well,
I think it's okay. It's okay. I would like it to be interactive.
Yeah.
So, yes, please.
So can you go back for a minute, please?
Yeah.
Where would you put DeepSeek and Grok under ChatGPT?
Yeah. So basically, what happens is that ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, these are using a thing called foundational models, and that is what we will discuss in a little bit.
Okay.
And in the foundational model is driven by a thing called LLM or large language models. Okay.
So my question was
Yeah.
that Gemini and VO3 and these are
It will fall there.
Okay.
But there is some distinction. The Grok, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, they're all tools.
They're all tools.
They're all tools, right? Front end.
Yeah.
In the back end, what they're using is LLM or large language model. Large language models are created using a thing called transformer. The transformer is the one that I mentioned in 2017 that came out. So you can think of that transformer is the seed of this new boom of AI. Okay, and from that seed, things are coming out, things are growing. ChatGPT is the first one which used the transformer, or actually there were other models before too, but ChatGPT was the one which kind of like brought it to the public. Using the transformer, they are creating a chat interface and the other interfaces for people to interact with that LLM model. Right? Before that, it was not that easily accessible. Grok is similar, same thing with the Claude, DeepSeek, and everything else. But all of them have created their own LLM or own large language model, which they trained on their own data. And so each of these models are a little bit different from each other, right? Even though the basic algorithm that they're using is the same, the data that they use to train the model is different. And that's where sometimes, someone may have a little bit advantage over the other. Okay? Okay, I'll just go through this a little faster. So now, AI, we talk about AI, artificial intelligence, right? AI is actually a very broad term, it encompasses everything for the machine learning space, deep learning space, and everything else within it. So it can be very simple pattern-based matching tool to all the way to self-driving cars, which has to process thousands of images per second and make decisions. Okay. Machine learning is part of the AI, and it's a subset of AI. And this is the traditional one that was there until 2017. It's still there, but that was more prevalent at that time. And these are pre-computed models that got trained using various different kinds of data, and it helps us to predict things. For example, the Netflix recommendation, if an email is a spam or not, fraud detection. So these models will take an input from you and give you an output and say, yeah, this is good, this is bad, or something. So these are called mostly the predictive models. So they help us to predict things. They don't generate something new, they just predict it. Now then we move on to deep learning. This is where we slowly move on to doing something bigger. And this is a subset of machine learning, but this is where it uses a thing called neural networks with many layers. So before predictive model and machine learning, they use pretty much just one layer typically. You put something in and something comes out. In the neural networks and deep learning, there are several different layers. So one input goes in from one layer goes to another, and another outcome comes another output. So this powered the most of the AI breakthrough that we have, and especially in image recognition, voice, natural language processing, audio processing, and everything else. It needs a large amount of data to be trained on, and it needs a lot of high computing power. Okay. So this is where the transformer slowly comes. The transformer is a type of neural network, okay, and we will discuss it a little bit later. Now we come to the foundation one, and this is where what you were kind of like referring to the Grok, DeepSeek, and all the things. So the foundational models are large general purpose AI models trained on massive data sets. And as I was saying that each of these companies, they have their own data set that they have trained the model on. And they are fine-tuning it for wide range of purposes. Like for example, there may be a large language model for medical purposes, so that you input some information to find out what kind of a disease somebody may have. They form the backbones of the AI system. Without the LLM, there will not be any ChatGPT and any other tools that you are seeing. Okay. Any questions so far? If not, we'll move on.
How does the AI differentiate between a spam email and genuine email? Because email might be genuine for somebody, which is spam for somebody else.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So typically the way the spam detection works is that it needs a little bit of training. Meaning that when you see a spam in your inbox, initially it will not be considered as spam because the system may not know. So what you may have ended up doing is there is a spam button and you click it, and that way it trains the backend model to say that if you see this kind of email, consider it as a spam. Okay. And so the next time an email of that type comes in, it will say, okay, there is a probability of this is a spam, right? So it will you and I were training it. Right? It's not just you, but if you think about it this way, there are like hundreds of thousands of Gmail users, and a spammer probably have sent it to 10,000 of them, same email or same type, right? So you are clicking it, I'm clicking it, Saidbhai is clicking it. So by all of us clicking it, we are rating it higher to be a spam. Okay, so it's not like a 0 or 1. There's a rating, and by many of us clicking it, we're giving it more weightage that it is a spam versus non-spam. It doesn't mean that it is absolutely a spam or absolutely a non-spam, right? Because there is no such thing. This is more like a probability. We're trying to guess the probability, or the system is trying to guess the probability of something being spam or not spam. All right.
You said that each one of them has their own data set.
Yes.
Where are they acquiring the data from? Is that primarily from the web?
Yes, that's a good question. So what they do is they go to the web and they suck out all the data, publicly available data on the web, right? They also go to library, scan all the books. They also go and take, sometimes even in case of private contents, like artists who may have done some images.
But is there a proprietary content also?
Yes.
There is. Okay.
In fact,
a question is no longer proprietary. Once you ask a question to ChatGPT or tools like that, it becomes public domain.
No, the answer becomes, but I'm talking about
you're talking about the training data, right? Yes.
I'm talking about their data set.
Yeah.
You the question.
For example, Elon Musk has all this data on self-driving.
Yes.
He's not going to make that public domain.
No.
Yeah.
He owns that data and he's going to keep it to himself to train his models, right? Same thing with Waymo, and other companies. They have their own data then doing it. But to keep in mind is that any data that's out there on the web is sort of like public domain.
Yeah.
But these companies and providers are in many cases circumventing that and also getting the private data. So what are the private data? Like I said, that you can go to the library and they may have scanned all the books, and take the contents of the book. So you go and ask ChatGPT, hey, explain to me what happened in War and Peace by Tolstoy. It's a very long book. I don't want to read it, right? It's going to summarize you and give you a page of what happened in War and Peace, right? So, but that's a proprietary data, sort of, right? But it has it, and there are actually some lawsuits going on against Meta and other companies, even including OpenAI, because they are using the private data, especially for the artists. It's a little bit of bad thing, right? Because now your content is out there, somebody is using it without giving you any royalty or anything, right? So that's a big problem. So there's a different angle to it.
Nearby, I just wanted to make a point.
Yeah.
The reason we hold our question to the end is that you can cover your content. And that's
Sure.
up to you, Nearby.
Yeah.
You decide.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to come to the end and your content.
Not a problem.
Your decision and
Yeah.
everybody's decision.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point.
I think we'll be able to cover everything, including the questions. So
That's fine.
I'll encourage to ask the question, but I'll also go through it, as the time permits. Okay, so now today, I'm focusing primarily on the generative AI. So generative AI is the space that we are actually now discussing about the ChatGPT and all of the things. The previous one we used to call it predictive AI, or like you mentioned, the spamming, right? How do I know if this is spam? So those are like predictive models that would give us a prediction. Generative AI is different. It's different in a way is because it helps to generate content. Okay, whether it be text, whether it be image, whether it be video, audio, a number of things. Okay, so when you go to ChatGPT and you ask it a question, it's actually generating the content for you and giving you the answer, right? So that's where the biggest difference and biggest leap has happened since the transformers came out. Now, I want to discuss a little bit about transformer and the generative AI, but in order for us to be really AI native and understand how the AI works, I want to discuss a couple of the terms that would be very useful for all of us to know, and that way we can utilize it better when we are interacting with these systems. So, first thing is prompt, chunking, token, vector, embedding, and transformer. Transformers you already have heard. So, and prompt also you have already heard and you probably already know. So what is a prompt? Prompt is basically, whatever you are giving to the interface. It could be, hey, ChatGPT, can you write a song for me, or write a poem for me, or anything for that matter. And then the ChatGPT will create a content for you and then give it to you. So this is the input that you are giving to AI. And then it's translating it into what your intent is, what is it that you are asking for, and what is the possible answer you may be looking for, and then it will give you the answer. Chunking. So chunking means that it will make the text that it has into smaller chunks. Well, for the lack of better word, chunks. So it's a smaller version of the text. So the reason AI does it is that it cannot handle the entire documents or very large amount of text simultaneously. So it needs to make it a smaller pieces. So it will split into paragraphs, sentences, for summarization. Token. So token is the smallest form of thing. So when you are writing a prompt, each word may become a token. Okay. So this is you can think of it that this is the smallest unit of the text that AI model would understand, right? Like for example, I gave this the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So in this sentence, each of these words becomes a token. And then when AI is processing your input, it's going to look at this token and see that, okay, what does this token mean? And then, do something about So vector. So this is actually a very important concept. So we all know computers actually work with 0 and 1s, right? It doesn't really understand text or other methods. So when these AI models are interpreting text and things, it needs to transform it into a mathematical array. And essentially, it will consist of an array of numbers, and we call it vector. So for example, dog, word, internally it may get represented as an array of numbers like this, similar to this. So this is how AI remembers, oh, dog, if somebody says dog, I need to look for this array in my memory. And that's how it also makes some correlations, looks up things and whatnot, right? This is also how AI remembers and compares one word to another. And what happens is that the really interesting part is in the vector space, it puts the similar words together. For example, queen and female will have two vectors which are closer to each other versus, let's say, queen and male. That way, when it's trying to look for similarity, it will find queen and female words closer together versus queen and male, and then it's going to generate a content based on that. Embedding is also a special type of vector that captures the meaning of word or sentence. Just like I was saying that the queen and female. Similarly, it will find the other word and have similar vector close by. Like happy and joyful will be similar in nature. And yes.
These numbers are generated by human beings or computer generated?
So like when we are indexing the data, it gets embedded. So the word, let's say that a quick brown fox, jumped over the lazy dog, this sentence, right? So when we are putting it in the computer, in the model, this is getting chunked up into each of these words, right? And each of those tokens and the things will get a new vectors, and we will call it embedding, right? And then it will get saved into the database.
But will computer do that?
Yes, computer will do that. So we will not do it manually. There are programs for us to do it, and then it will just take the text as it is, and then it will spit out the embeddings, and the embedding will then get saved, and then later on when you're searching for it, you'll be able to see it.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
as you ask and it learns, then it will refine these vectors or no?
And sorry, say that again?
These vectors get refined as the learning model matures and it learns, and would it
Yeah.
refine or would it be absolute at the beginning and then go with that?
So that depends. If you keep on retraining and fine-tune the model, then yes, it will get refined, right? So for example, you may have a certain amount of text right now, and that text changes tomorrow, then the embedding will change, right? If you take out that certain text tomorrow and you put it something else. One example could be, and I'll give the example later on with our chatbot, is for example, in the EIC we have all these documents, we have all the board members and everybody else, right? Board members will change, right? So like let's say that I'm training based on the data that we have now, so that we have a certain kind of embedding and some certain kind of data in the computer right now. And then tomorrow, when the board members changes, it will pick up the new data, and the old one will get replaced. So if you look for the old one, it will not come out. Okay, so that will be, you can think of it as a little bit of like fine tuning and things.
But to write programs in order for computer to enable it to put up this vectors. Right?
Yeah. So there are libraries for that, and there are processes for which you don't have to do much. But most of the software engineers they will just use that. You just give it the text, right? Document, like it could be a PDF file, a text file, or a bunch of other things. It will then load it up into the model, okay, automatically. I'll show you an example a little bit later. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the transformers, right? The main algorithm that kind of like started all these. But before I dive into it, transformer is actually a very complicated topic, and for me, I don't even understand it like 100%. So I'll just try to explain it from my point of view and from my understanding. If you have questions, let me know, and if I can't answer it, I'll try to get the answer for you. Okay. So the transformers is like I said, it was a deep learning model introduced in 2017. It utilizes a thing called self-attention to capture the relationship between the tokens. And as you recall, the tokens are the words in the sentences, right? In a sequence. And this is the key innovation between the large language model. So what is a transformer? It's a special kind of computer model, and that looks at all of the words together, and it tries to understand, what is the meaning and how they are interconnected with each other. If you think of it this way, previously in the predictive models, we would give it an input, outcomes, and output. And whenever it was doing a processing of a certain amount of text or a sentence, it will do it word by word, and then it will spit out something. For example, I don't know how many of you have used the Google Translate. Google Translate, to translate, let's say, English to Spanish or something, right? So we all have used it. But if you recall, let's say that before 2017, if you go and type into the box something, and then in the other box you choose French or Spanish, and you ask the Google to translate it. What it did was that it would take the sentence and it would translate it into word by word. Okay. So what happens is that because Google doesn't know anything about language, right? Or the translator doesn't know anything about the language. So this mic is dying.
It might be better
It's
without it.
better without it.
Take it out.
Okay.
Try without it.
Okay. Anyway, I'll just keep it there.
Yes,
So
okay, we can hear you.
you can hear. Okay. All right. So basically, it is translating, or it used to be, it was translating one word at a time, right? So when it came out, French or something, you see, I can grasp the meaning, but this is not the proper translation, right? That's why we used to have translators. People who would translate, their profession was translator, right? They would translate the document, they translate, things, because we wanted the meaning of the input, not the literal translation, right? Now, with the LLM, what happens is that it doesn't process one word at a time. It looks at the whole sentence or the whole input that you have given it in its entirety. And then it tries to understand what is the relationship with this word versus that word. And then comes up with a output that's much, much more human-like, right? Natural language type. That's the biggest difference between, let's say, the transformer models and the models in the previous generations, right? You can also think of it this way. Let's say you pick up a book, you're reading a book, right? You're reading it sentence by sentence, first page you read, second page you read. But as you are reading it, you're kind of like remembering what you have read, right? So when you're reading, let's say, in the 20th page, and it talks about something similar to the first page, you will immediately make a connection, right? Because that's a key character or something that you know, and then you say, oh, okay, yeah, I read about it. So, and now I know what it means here, right? So computers cannot do that or could not do that before. Now with the transformer model, this is where the self-attention comes in, the idea of self-attention, meaning that it creates an attention mechanism to the key words as it processes things. So I'll give you another example. Let's say my dog Fluffy sat on my fluffy dog sat on the mat, right? So this is a sentence. So you hear it, you and I as a human, we immediately know what it means, right? My dog is sitting on the mat. Who is actually Fluffy? Like has a lot of furs, right? That computer doesn't know, what it means. It cannot typically see or understand that, what is the Fluffy, the dog? Is Fluffy sitting on the mat? The dog is sitting on the mat? What is going on, right? But in a transformer model, it will see that, okay, there's a dog there. Dog is probably a key character here. Okay, Fluffy, maybe a name, may not be a name. What is the probability of Fluffy being a name? And what is the Fluffy being just an adjective, right? And then it will decide that, which one is the main character here. Okay, Fluffy is not the main character, dog is the main character. Okay, who is sitting there on the mat? Okay, the dog is sitting on the mat, right? So then it does this kind of internal sort of reasoning and then it will tell you that, what is it that you are looking for and whatnot. So, yeah, go ahead.
Does that translate into computational data that's stored, which is keeping these relationships so that you don't have to recompute it over and over again, or is it on the fly always computed?
So it's always on the fly.
Oh,
And that's why if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, it will give you a different answer each time. And again, this is not pre-computed, right? But the previous models were pre-computed. So previous model, in the predictive models, you are reasonably certain if you give it A, B, C, you can get X, Y, Z 90% of the time or 99% of the time. Here, since the content is generated, it may take a slightly different path each time. And even a slightly different path would generate a different content. Okay. So that's the main difference. So you can go to ChatGPT and ask the same question, or you can give it a paragraph and say, okay, summarize this paragraph for me. It will summarize it to you. And so, okay, summarize it again. It will give a different answer, right? Or you go back 2 days later, give the same one. It will summarize completely different.
So that,
No, but, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm saying this learning is happening on the fly, then it's not, as it builds huge amounts of databases.
Yeah.
If it could create these relationships and store it,
Yeah.
that would be a faster access to it to be able to.
The relationship is stored.
Yeah, so like the vectors you were showing.
Yes, correct.
I would imagine as it's learning and more, it's gonna be refining those vectors and their relationships
Yes,
across.
yes.
So that
So
the
that's called-
computation becomes faster.
That's called the feedback loop, right? So when you get an answer back and you say, okay, this answer is garbage, it didn't make any sense. So you can actually give a thumbs up, thumbs down, and also alter the content and say that, hey, model, you made a mistake here, right? Can you do this? There was this interesting test that everybody was doing, a few months back. You can go to ChatGPT and say, how many R's are in strawberry? Okay, how many R's are there in strawberry? Now, you and I, we know how many R's are there. We can count it and say that ChatGPT can't, or ChatGPT could not, because this is not a core function of it. Remember, we said that it has all these vectors and things. It can generate things, but it cannot actually do functional counting or functional stuff that you and I as a human do. Now, then these things are changing. We are augmenting it with a thing called agents and tools, so that LLM models can become smarter in the sense that it can do different kinds of functions and activities. Right? But to your point, the models are storing the relationship, but it's going to look at the relationship when you ask the question, and then it try to determine that what you asked, generate the content, and give it to you.
Because it'll speed up if you have to compute all the time on the fly. Your learning would be much slower than if you form a database on which you just keep on refining these relationships. I would
No,
imagine.
Yeah.
there's two things. You brought up a very good example. If I said my fluffy dog, fluffy is an adjective. If I said my dog Fluffy, Fluffy becomes a name.
Yes.
Right? So it built a rule that if something comes after the object, then it is a name.
The relationship
But
changes.
that rule is permanent.
What is an object?
So
No, the object is dog.
But it
So
has
my
to learn
question is,
yeah,
that rule, where is that? Is that in the LLM?
embedding and in the LLM. So
In the LLM, okay.
the thing is that there's a dog there in your vector space. There's a Fluffy there, right? Now the relationship of these two words together, when it came first, when it came second, can make a difference, right?
Okay, now is everyone using the same LLM?
No,
No.
Everyone has their own LLM.
no. The ChatGPT has their own LLM models that they train, right? Grok has their own that they train. DeepSeek has their own, right? Claude, Anthropic, they have their own model that they have trained, but they all used similar sets of data that's publicly available and wherever they could get the private ones. Okay, the kind of like the ingenuity comes in a thing called weightage. So when they are training these models, they also have a thing called weightage that they provide during the training time. Okay, this word has this weightage, this parameter has this weightage. And that one is proprietary for each of these guys. So based on the weightage, you may get a good result, you may get a bad result. Okay, and that's why actually these guys are able to have proprietary models and whatnot, because they kind of hide it, how they have actually trained it, what the weightage they gave, what are the biases that they gave during the training, and that is their proprietary thing. There are also open source models like Llama 3 and Mistral and others, where they have actually exposed that how they have trained the model. So you and I, we can take it and we can actually also train it if needed, because they have given all the blueprints.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on. So generative AI has a lot of applications. There's not. I'm not going to spend much time in this, but as you all know, there's a text, code generation, image, video, and whatnot, right? And these applications are increasing day by day. Now we have a bunch of other new things. Whether it be gaming, whether it be travel agent, and a bunch of other applications which are popping up, which are constantly using AI to make things easier. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the problems, right? So now so far we have been discussing how good it is and whatnot, but nothing comes for free, right? And there are always gotchas there that we should be aware of as we are interacting with these models, trying to understand what they're doing and integrate it within our life, right? First and most important thing is hallucinations. What is hallucination? Hallucination is a phenomena that LLM kind of experiences, and it gives you bad results. But not just bad results, it just flat out makes things up, right? It will create a false narrative, and it will give you as if it's fact or true. For example, the strawberry question that I mentioned, if you go and ask it, okay, how many hours in the strawberry? Nowadays it will give you the right answer because it got trained with that particular question. But before it will say, oh, there is only 1 hour. Oh, let me count it. Oh, there is only 1 hour, 2 hours. It will never be able to give the correct answer. But it will give the bad answer or wrong answer very, very confidently, right? So if you and I, if we are going to rely on it for our, let's say, for our research and other things, we should be very careful that how we are using it, and we should always kind of be skeptical of the answer that we are getting back and make sure that we have a way to verify it. Especially if you think that this doesn't sound right. We should look into it. There was this funny thing that happened, not that long ago, probably in a couple of months back. Anthropic, one of the big company for the Claude model, I think they were getting sued by somebody. So they went to the court, and the judge was super upset, and then threw out their court case. What happened? Anthropic actually used AI to generate the legal documents to file in the court. Problem is that when they filed that, the AI actually cited some of the cases in the filing which doesn't exist. Which doesn't exist, right? So it just made it up. It just made it up and then put it there, right? So hallucination is a big problem for LLM, and there are lots of work happening for the models to hallucinate less and less, but it will keep on being a problem. And there are ways to reduce it, but there's no way to completely eliminate it. Okay. Training data dependency. We have been talking about the how it got trained and whatnot. All the models have this dependency on the training data, and depending on what kind of data you are using to train it, either it will be a really good model or it will be useless. Okay. So training data has a huge impact on the model. Bias amplification. If your data has some bad content, let's say that it has some racist content, LLM will amplify it. LLM will generate more content similar to that and give it back to you. So that means that because it doesn't know what is right, what is wrong, or anything else. It just generating the content based on the whatever it was training. So it can amplify the biases. Okay. Lack of contextual information. Sometimes it may generate content and which may be completely out of context, and it may not make any sense in what you have asked for. Ethical concerns. So this is a big part of the AI space. If we're not using the AI in most ethical manner, companies can use it to exploit a lot of the situations. Whether be it like surveillance, right? They may be doing the face recognition and say, okay, who is going there, who is going here, and profile people. And assign them a score. Okay, you got this score, you got that score, and based on the score, they may try to do something, right? So it's very easy to use the AI to do some unethical stuff, and that's a huge concern. EU or European Union has taken some steps to curb some of that problem, and they have some regulations in place where they said you cannot use AI to judge people or human beings, or there always has to be a human in the loop, and human has to look at the particulars and then make a final decision. AI should not be the one making the decision. So this is something to be also aware of. So what is next? What is next is that we are actually getting into the next phase of this AI revolution. AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, is not there yet. Basically, this is where it will start thinking like a human. Right now, it doesn't. Right now it just kind of it has so much information and data in its training corpus that it can just make up things, or it can just give you an answer which is more probable, right? But in future, what will happen is that it will actually start thinking or reasoning. So reasoning is a big space for the AI. That's kind of slowly getting into there, and we'll see more discussion about that. Same thing with the ASI, similar to AGI. We're not there yet, but there are lots of work happening. Now, agents and tools and functions, they are actually already here. I use a lot of these agents, especially when I'm coding. I have Copilot to help me with the coding. Sometimes I use Gemini and all the stuff, right? These agents can make things. These are AI agents, and this can take an input from you and give you an output that's going to help you to expedite things. Okay, that could be coding agent. That could be other type of agent, like travel agent. You want to book a trip to Hawaii. You say, okay, I want to go to Hawaii on this date. Can you find a ticket and book it for me? It can search all the places, find the ticket, help you to book it, and all you do is just have to say yes, confirm, and then boom, it's done, right? So those kind of things are already there, and it's expanding, as days go by. Automated actions, various agents working together to perform large-scale tasks. It could be for example, let's say that I have a startup, but I don't have any money. I don't have money to hire software engineers. I don't have money to hire project managers, or anybody for that matter, right? So I can create an army of agents and give them a persona and say, oh, you are a project manager. Oh, you are a software engineer. Oh, you are this. And then have them all work together to build an application. Okay, project manager will build the PRD, project requirement document, and then the architect will build the architecture diagram, and then the software engineer agent will take the architecture diagram, the graphics, and generate code from it. Okay, and code from it, and then you can just deploy. So, yes.
So can the agent started hallucinating?
Yeah. What if agent starts hallucinating?
Yeah.
Then you get bad product.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what the risk is there.
Of course, that risk is there, right? So, and part of the thing is that right now everybody is drinking the AI Kool-Aid, right? All the companies and everybody say, okay, AI is the biggest thing. IBM, I think it was the beginning of this year, said that AI is going to replace all our software engineers, so they laid off like 25% of their people. Right? They quickly found out that AI is not what it is they thought it would be, so they had to hire back most of the engineers that they laid off. Problem is, just like you mentioned, if the AI starts hallucinating, somebody has to be there to stop it, right, or to retrain it, or else it will be a big problem, right? Let's say that I have no idea of software engineering. I asked the AI to do coding for me. It did it, and then I go put it out on there, and I have not even looked at it. I don't know what it did or not, but it works. But then we quickly find out there was a security risk. It exposed the credit card data, or it exposed the user data, or some other bunch of other things, and then I'm in trouble, right? So there has to be governance in place in order for us to fully utilize this. Okay. So, okay, now to EIC, what are we doing at the EIC? You guys may have heard about the chatbot that we have. I announced it in the WhatsApp group a few months back. The EIC chatbot, what I did was that, I trained it with all of our EIC documents that we have, including the prayer times. It has personalized contextual information for EIC and safe and secure. Like we're talking about, I can generate a bunch of garbage, right? So I put some guardrails so that it can just discuss and answers on the EIC related topic and nothing else. And it's a very simple way for our users to just use it to get the information, for all of this EIC.
Where is this?
It's in our app, in the phone app.
Okay.
You have the app, EIC.
No, I don't have it.
You don't have it?
No.
Come on, Sai.
All right.
Download it now.
Okay.
Is it in the,
It's called EIC?
EIC Ikama.
It's
EIC
the
space.
Ikama app.
Yeah, EIC space Ikama.
It's the Ikama app that.
that I have Ikama, but.
No, is it Ikama app or EIC Ikama app?
EIC space Ikama.
Yeah.
So you search for that in the Apple Store or Google Store, you will see it.
That I have, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is something else, EIC chatbot architecture.
Yeah, so this is how it is actually set up on the back end. So I'm going to just
All this
quickly,
stuff.
so quickly tell that how it's working, right? We discussed all the embedding, token, and all the things. And you were asking, how are we going to do this, right? So this is how it happens. Like in this case, we have all of the EIC documents. So there's a document loader that loads it up into the vector database. So database is a special type of database where this document loader will vectorize all of this content and then input it into the database, right? So now it's saved in the database. Yeah.
So then EIC image shows that there's a space which is confidential and non-confidential because you don't want access to the confidential.
Correct. So we don't want to access the confidential data or anything. So the data that is getting indexed are already in the public domain, meaning that if you go there and you look under the
website.
Yeah, you look under the about, right? So like for example, we have the board documents, we have the information about a bunch of other things. Like for example, you are a new EIC member, you want to know what is the requirement to become a member, or what is the requirement to become a board member, right? Where are we to find it? Now we have the document, but that document is like 40 pages long, right? And like so you don't have the context. So now with this thing, you can potentially ask a question that how do I become a member, or where do I donate, or how do I donate, and then it will give you the answer. Okay.
So this app goes to the website and picks up the pertinent information.
No. What is happening is that there is a process in the background, right? This doc loader picked up all the EIC docs and then vectorized it and then put it in the database.
No, but it's loading the docs from where?
From the EIC website.
Website, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have we have a server with an API and the LLM models all running. These are all
So
running.
if my web server said that Isha is at 12 noon,
Yeah.
does your chat box have the smarts to say, to reject that?
If you say that again,
If my website
yeah,
said Fajr time is 12 noon,
yeah,
when you
Yeah.
load that doc,
yeah.
will you check that this is not possible?
No. The time of the prayer times, for example, if you have made a mistake in the prayer time, for example, right, and you said that 12 a.m.
I'm saying 12 noon, yeah.
12 or whatever, right? You know, remember we talked about the training data dependency, right? LLM itself doesn't know what is right for you and what is right for me. It relies on the data that you have supplied it during the training time. So if I gave it bad data, I said the further time is at 12 p.m. It has no way of knowing or determining that it's
Yeah,
right or wrong.
There
right?
must be, there should be some sanity check.
Yeah, so there should be some sanity check during the loading of these data. So that's the training process is for. Training is process is for that, it's not just getting the data and then putting it, right? It's also sanitizing it, also doing the data manipulation, preparing it so that it can be inserted there.
That's what makes it, the data is garbage, then you start hallucinating.
Oh, that's the demo.
Yeah, so let's look at the demo really quickly, and you can run it on your phone, if you have downloaded it also.
But I
So
heard it says the chat bot is not yet,
it's not working.
it's being worked upon.
It's been working, but
Let's do
Yeah,
the
so you
demo.
can put that
right.
prompt.
Okay, so let's say that
Us in.
Oh, it's,
okay, so in this case, I had what is the prayer time until I could start. So let's say that I can say that, okay, I am going to EIC tomorrow. Tomorrow, what is the prayer time? Right? So let's say that I'm out, I came from outside and then I'm going there. What is it going to do, right? So, okay, so this came back. So it took the context. In this case, just if you look at the screen, I said that I'm going there tomorrow. I didn't say that give me the day, give me what date it is or what not, right? It said, okay, you said tomorrow. Okay, let me find out what date is tomorrow, right? And it found out, okay, the date is 20, and then it looked for the information, and then it kind of printed it out. So Fajr is still tomorrow at 5 a.m. But let's say that after that, tomorrow it will change, right? And then it will find the latest information, and then it will show you. Let's say that I can ask it.
When is the next Fajr change time?
Monday.
I wanted to ask.
That's a good one. It doesn't have that capability yet, but that's probably something that
So
will
you're
happen.
basically scanning the web pages.
So the way it's working is it's not scanning the web page. So what it does is that there are two parts to it. One is the documents that it has already indexed and put it there, right? So that's one time thing. It doesn't do it all the time. And then the second thing is that we have also the database for our prayers. See, that's a secondary source of data. Not only the documents, but it also goes to the database, finds the information, and then gives the context that okay, what is happening and whatnot. Okay.
So what if you have the year calendar,
So
prayer time
are you
calendar?
going to Q&A? Because I want to spread the questions a little bit.
Yes, sure. So I think we are almost done. Let's just
Before you move away from
Yeah.
this, can I ask you a quick question?
yes, go ahead.
So I asked, I said I'm going to EIC in December. It came back with as EIC operates with a membership year from July to 30th, December would be out of the current membership year.
Yeah.
So it just gave me something.
So it hallucinated.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it is pertinent information.
The reason.
But what does it got to do with the year?
Well, I put different question.
Because okay, what was your question again? You said what?
I said I'm going to EIC in December.
Yeah. So it doesn't have any information.
Yeah.
What is it supposed to tell you? What are you expecting it to say?
Nearby, are we done with the demo? Because I want to
Yes, please.
moderate
Go ahead.
discussion.
Yes, please moderate. Yeah.
Okay,
I apologize.
let's take, amazing work. If I can just take a couple of minutes to point something out. However, you made a good point that we need the youth and the technical people to, I was thinking now, Barbara, we are beyond that. I mean, we need to know how this thing is going. Because the AI is just taking over like anything. And if we are not using AI or all ages, we are going to be left behind. So this is super relevant to everybody, I think, not just of, a certain age. And one more additional thing, if I could say, which is that the pace at which the LLMs are now acquiring information and people are depending on it, it is scary. I mean, my brother-in-law came yesterday and he had this chat GPT voice thing.
Huh?
Voice, chat GPT voice. And chat GPT voice, they're just talking like a human being and interrupting each other and arguing with each other. He's saying, I just talked to this app. That's how I do. He said that I stopped using Google absolutely and only go to ChatGPT. So Google has to be very scared. So with that, let's open up to questions and try to take as few more if
Yes.
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sure.
What I understand is, as an old timer, is it's looking into the published information and trying to correct and synthesize.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
So there used to be data mining. So
right.
at that point of time, they were mining the data and the human beings were synthesizing it
Yes.
and doing exactly what
Correct.
it's doing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So unless the data is available open,
Yeah.
any AI will not read it.
Correct.
Am I right?
So, yes and no. I mean,
okay, then now.
yeah, because
And then-
it also acts as a
Then there
proprietary.
is a lot of data which is protected by firewalls.
Correct.
Does AI jump the firewall?
No.
So that means there is a restriction on AI to the access of data. If I have a data I
Yeah.
don't want to share, AI cannot provide anybody any data. Or
Correct.
will the time come when you will be developing in such a way, maybe 50 years hence,
So that's a
that
very good question. I'm sure Birbhai.
Yeah.
it's going to jump everything and go anywhere. And ultimately I am foreseeing, I want to send a mail to Mukhtiar, not in my name, in Dr. Majid's name. I asked ChatGPT, whatever AI, send a nasty letter, mail to him
Yeah.
in your name
Yeah.
on my dictation.
Yeah.
Will that stage come?
No, that stage is already here, right? People actually use your
So
emails
let's
to send
answer
out
the
mail.
firewall.
So the firewall, first part of your question, that AI cannot access the proprietary information within your company, for example, right? It can't. Whatever you give it, it will have. Now, with that being said, there is an enterprise version of AI which will take the corporate data and then do the same thing. Okay, but that is for the corporate environment that stays inside the firewall, and it usually doesn't interact with outside. Okay.
So if I can add
One supplement.
Yes.
See, for example, I want
let us this conversation.
is that, you see, for example, all our thesis,
Yes.
PhD thesis, or even in India, every thesis
Is out there.
the submitted so far in India,
Yeah.
they are digitized
Yes.
and they are available.
Correct.
Now I can't reach that. Can I ask AI to bring me the text of the thesis written by Professor J. Ketari in 1967?
Yes, you can.
The whole thesis will come to me?
Well, that depends. You can say that, hey, can you show me the thesis? Yes. Or
Karim
summarize
Sahib,
it.
there's one point if I can take this quick. So the training data, Karim Sahib, right, based on which this whole LLM thing, training data is something that LLM needs. Without that data, it can't do anything. It is up to us whether we want to put that training data in the public realm. We can also not put it in the public realm, keep it to ourselves, and kind of fine tune it a little bit without making it publicly available. So I hope that answers your question. Let's move. So go ahead, Afif.
So nowadays a lot of fake audios and videos.
Yeah.
You can take my voice
Yeah.
and you speak anything and it will look like Hafiz is speaking.
That's right.
Okay, so where are we leading the society? By opening up the YouTube for those false videos and audios, Facebook, Instagram, you can dump anything there
Yeah.
and it can create a fitna in the society. So where are we leading to?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's possible, right? And that's where there are some efforts to identify which videos or audios are created by AI. And there are some ethical governance rules being put in place that, if something is created by AI, there will be a watermarking. So the watermarking will help you to determine that, okay, if this was created synthetically or not, and what not, right? So, but you are right. There will be problems. People will create.
No, I'm already seeing that.
Yeah, of course. And that's the normal, I guess, course of our life, right? People may have created bad books, wrote bad books, right? And then others who have read it. So, oh, this is probably true, but this is not, right? So how did we distinguish that at those periods when there was no computer, but people were writing books and creating a bad narration, a bad narrative, right? We went through those things too, right? And we also understood that, okay, I have to be careful when I look at it, right? Same thing here. It's just that now it's in a digital form versus it was in paper form before.
I mean, Hafiz bhai, to your point, it poses a much bigger danger now than it looks
People are
forward.
manipulating
Because-
the Quranic verses.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And it
mean,
looks like real.
the good
Yeah.
thing is huge and the bad thing can also be huge.
Yes.
It's
Please go
very
ahead.
huge.
It is. I mean, the good and bad will be there,
Now,
unfortunately.
is this watermark already taking place?
Yeah, people are it's already being.
How do you use this watermark?
Let's just go to Mukhtar bhai.
Yeah, actually, I have a comment on some of the questions which are being asked, right? In fact, this is one of the extremely fast-growing fields in terms of how to secure it,
Yeah,
how to put those guardrails,
yeah.
how to, avoid those deep seek and
So
and
basically, the
fake
cyber security version
cyber
of
security.
AI.
I mean,
For the AI.
I mean,
For the
so
AI.
many companies are just emerging, just focusing
Just
on.
to protect.
That's right.
And we are just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Because the potential, the scope of this and how it's gonna get out of hands is still not understood.
That's right.
So,
All right, say.
I just wanted to find out, how do you use this watermark thing that you use? How do we use this watermark?
So the watermark is not completely there yet, right? There are
Oh, okay.
rules and regulations being put in place.
Oh, I see.
Because, like Mukhtar bhai said, it's a very fast-moving thing.
yeah, the way it's being done, is just, the way it's being done is, for example, if you have an image, right? Image has a copyright. How do you make a copyright? So there's some embedded data, metadata within the image, which is like when it's digitized, is ones and zeros, right? But it has some data in there. When you try to copy it, is not gonna allow you to copy it or use it. Same thing for the voice. Same thing, any content which is being generated, the work is being done to how put those boundaries in it, which is a data, but it has additional data in there, which will prevent that to be exploited.
Oh, I see.
But
That is being done right
that's
now.
being done, right? It's
But not there yet.
Not there.
Faisal bhai.
So I have a quick comment and a couple of questions. Quick comment, the fact that everybody has something to, contribute to this conversation is proof in itself
Yeah,
that this is the next best thing, right? It already is. So about ethics, right? So
Yeah.
I know you have, the conglomerate, the OpenAI,
Yeah.
the Microsoft, the Googles and Metas of the world, right? Is there a central committee that is actually looking at it and saying, okay, these are the, rules that it must follow? Because remember, the CEO of OpenAI warned the US Senate, I think it was, or US House of Congress about, the dangers of AI.
yeah.
Right? So what's going on in terms of ethic? And the last question, quick question is your presentation available to be shared?
I can make it available to be shared. That was the easy part. The hard part is the first part,
First part.
which is actually a lot of companies are against any AI. In fact, I think there was a bill that said that no no restrictions on AI for next 10 or 12, 20 years or something like that. I forgot the exact bill, but so there are some things going on. But in EU, I can say for sure that there is a governance and ethics rules put in place. It was started last year, and companies will have to adhere to it, I believe, from this year or the next year, something around that time. and US is not adopting it yet because of obviously the financial and the commercial reasons, but eventually there will be something. Yes, Badr.
Yeah, my question is, I mean, I can understand the AI is generating sentences or form based on some information or intelligence inside it. But how can dare to change a fixed sentence from the Quran and put different words and refer it to unknown ayah, unknown, I mean, based on what? How they can change, and make it like a new Fatiha?
So the thing is that these LLM models are not deterministic, right? So, and it doesn't know Quran from another book, right? To it, it's just a piece of data, right, that is coming in. And it's just going to index it and put it there. And it will try to understand what the context is, and it probably will regenerate the same text. That's his job, right?
That's very dangerous.
Not only that, actually, because when you're training it, what are you training on?
It's supposed to be taken as one sentence, referred to one surah, one ayah. How can you split it and take this from here and refer it to some surah not there?
No, but you're assuming that you're training. I think that's one part, but the other part is there's a lot of other material called the fake Quran out there too. They're taking everything to train the system.
I think the point that I think you need to really think is now everybody is going to Chat GPT. Does Chat GPT has a responsibility to give the right content? Otherwise, can I sue Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT, you gave me bad content, I'm going to sue you. I made the wrong decisions in my life based on what you told me.
That's your problem. That's what he's saying. They hallucinate, you learn.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's where it should go, Baba. Right?
No, but that's why all of these tools actually give a disclaimer that ChatGPT can make mistakes. Make sure that you double check it, right? It does give a disclaimer. So you can't say that, oh, ChatGPT gave me a bad data. ChatGPT knows that it can give bad data. And it stated in your face that, hey, I can give you bad data. It is your responsibility to make sure that what you have is what you want.
But don't you think that more and more people are depending on AI?
Yeah.
Right? They're depending on AI. And it's like, okay, I use Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
But Google Map can't tell me that, hey, you validate from somewhere else. I just gave you my best guess.
Yeah.
If you crash into a bridge, that's not my problem.
And it has done it, right? It has led people to go over the cliff, dive into a river, take them into roads which doesn't exist, right? So it has done it. So my point is that there will be cases where we will see that these are problematic. Like any technology, right? Any technology, over the course of humankind, you look at it, somebody will use it in a way which is inappropriate or which was not the intent of it, right? And
I'll ask you something.
Yeah.
Waymo, right? I sit on Waymo, and Waymo car takes me, no driver.
Yeah.
If Waymo car has a problem, who do I sue? If Waymo car hits the curb and I get hurt, who do I sue?
you sue Waymo.
You can sue Waymo?
Yeah. Because when
So that's what I'm saying. The same way, even ChatGPT will have to take some responsibility, right? Especially if I'm on a paid version, right?
Yeah.
And say, Mr. ChatGPT, I'm paying you money, you better give me the right answers.
Yeah. No. So and you are right. That's why ChatGPT also has the enterprise version, right? Where
they're more controlled,
more control,
sanitized,
more sanitized. And by the way, just one thing: these LLMs when you are asking or querying it, you can get a varying degree of answer. And the way you control it is there's a parameter called temperature. I think in ChatGPT you can also do that. So that if the temperature is high, it will be very creative, meaning that it will just make things up as much as possible. If the temperature is low, it will stick to the point. And you can also give it an instruction. Hey, ChatGPT, give me this information. If you do not know the answer, do not make anything up. If you add that on top and then you ask your question, it will not make anything up.
The temperature goes down.
Temperature will go down and it will just stick to the point, right? It will not hallucinate as much. So that's one way to stop us. Yes, brother.
Now, Man, you had a question, so sorry, go ahead.
So AI gets better with usage, right?
AI gets better with usage is this what
So if you write an AI tool today and it's the first day of the tool, it is as dumb as a human.
Yeah.
It has no context, no data. You keep
Okay.
using it, it will get smarter and smarter. And then you'll start learning more and more. Now people are losing jobs because AI is taking over.
Yeah.
Why are people using AI to put their own jobs at risk? Why should we encourage using AI?
Yeah.
When we know we are making AI smarter, putting our own job at risk.
Yeah.
And then you're saying use more AI. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to make my, put my job at risk by using AI.
Yeah.
Pointless. You want to put your own job at risk? Use more AI. Make it smarter than you. Once it becomes smarter than you, it will kick you out of your job.
Sure. But I think that's a very wrong way to look at it. Let me finish. It's wrong way to look at it is whenever a new technology comes in, if we don't adopt it, we can say I don't like it, I'm not going to do it, right? You are the one who's going to fall behind, and eventually everybody else will learn and then move on to different way of using the AI. And actually, I had a slide there on this, but we kind of like skipped it. I had the potential risky job. What could be the risky because of the AI, and how you can just mitigate it. So it's like when the computers came out, right? First, when the computers came out first, people were like so much scared. Oh, the computer's going to take out all our job. We will be out of job. We'll not have anything. Right? But then people started to learn computer. They started to learn programming. They started to see that this has actually a lot of benefit. And yes, some jobs will be gone. Some jobs will be replaced with newer jobs. And then people actually started to get into those newer jobs. Their skills up level. They started to look at things differently. They knew more. They learned more. If you say that, okay, I'm not going to do the AI anything, and AI is not necessarily learning from you. AI already is learned. Okay, you are probably helping it to maybe augment its information, right? Because we already discussed. All these models already have been trained. It's there. So whether you do something or not, it's like, if you don't jump on the bandwagon, you are the one who will be left behind, right? So we want everybody to jump on the bandwagon and make sure that you take that.
Your analogy with a computer is different because
How so? At that time, those people would say the same thing, right?
AI is actually kicking out people off the job. Those same people who actually created AI. It's like, I'm creating my own replacement.
So we kind of.
That's the problem.
So Man Bhai, if I could just maybe just summarize, I think we can go back and forth on this. But basically, I think the point is that it is happening whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Somebody will do it. If we don't do it, somebody else will
Somebody
do
else
it.
will
So we have to kind of figure out how to make it work. If I can just make one point here, which is that it is maybe a year ago it was about our tech people getting into AI for their career, right? If you're tech, how can you create a business opportunity or professional opportunity? But that's not the question anymore. Now the question is, are regular people using AI?
Yeah.
Because I don't have nothing to do with technology.
Yeah.
But if I'm not using AI as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a housewife even maybe, right?
Right.
The other person is doing it and you'll be left behind. You'll find yourself, whatever, you're trying to achieve. So
Yeah.
I think we have to start using it because otherwise we're left behind.
NVIDIA CEO said it very well the other day. He was on CNN. He asked, comment, she asked him a question. She said, is AI going to take away all the jobs? He said, no, AI will not take away your job, but the person who uses AI in the job will take away your job.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
What is the best app to be downloaded for AI?
Well, it depends on what would you like to do, right? You know, if you're just like, let's say, knowledge purposes, you know, you don't want to use the Google search engine anymore. You just want to ask a question and get the answer. You can use that, you know, OpenAI's ChatGPT. You can use Gemini from Google. A bunch of other tools are there that you can download on your phone and then.
Akhil Bhai has a question. Please go ahead.
Hallucination having
problem.
Right.
Last questions.
In my use of AI, I see that hallucination is a big problem.
Yeah.
When it sort of throws out garbled data.
Yeah.
I can recognize it because I know what data I'm looking
That's right.
for. Any other person who's a general user will not really recognize it's just hallucinating.
Yeah.
So, are there any models to predict that it's
Yeah,
hallucinating?
yeah. So there are models to actually take the output and then evaluate it. So we call it the LLM evaluation flow. Okay, where an input coming in, output being done by one LLM, and another LLM is judging the output and see that and rate it. That, you know, if it's a good output, bad output, and that's how, you know, you minimize the
Is that
hallucination.
already in the market?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Not only good
question
output
by-
out, but even the good output, right? You can, because I think this is one of the problems in schools. You're generating the content, and then they want to verify whether it's a ChatGPT
Yeah.
generated or not.
It's a tough job. Nazir Bhai has a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you can wrap up after that.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, if you allow me to share one of the experience with AI of giving wrong information.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very scary actually. I'm gonna,
If you're going to.
hopefully I can show it on the screen.
Yeah.
So I was asking ChatGPT, do you have an example from the Quran for the ism maf'ul is pronounced like ism fa'il? And he says, yes, in the Quran Kareem there is ayat, and he gave me an example. This one, so it's wider now. He said in Surah An-Naml 81, وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُهْدِ الْعُمْيَ عَنْ ضَلَالَتِهِمْ. And this is the wrong ayah.
Yeah.
That's not correct ayah,
So-
because the ayah actually, if we go to,
Nazir Bhai, we kind of know this issue, right?
yeah, I'm just showing one which is very interesting.
Yeah.
In Surah An-Naml, ayah 81, وَمَا أَنْتَ بِهَادِ الْعُمْيِ عَنْ ضَلَالَتِهِمْ. He changed the whole word and he quoted it. The question, how did he come up with this wrong word?
So there could be malicious actors,
Huh?
malicious people.
Malicious,
So they may say, go and, you know, upload things to ChatGPT and in other places. Thank you. And that can influence it. And remember, you know, like when Wikipedia came out, right? People would put a lot of articles there and say, okay, this is the correct article or not. And then people have to do moderation of it and say, no, you are adding all this bunch of things which are not true. And then they will do moderation, right? The self-moderation. The way I see it is that the ChatGPT and everybody else will have the proper human in the loop, feedback loop, which is going to give it a constant feedback and say, okay, this generated topic is actually inaccurate. And you give the feedback, and then it has to reevaluate it, right? And then, you know, look at it and see that, you know, if that would be make sense or not. But as far as the Quran goes, and from theoretical perspective, you know, like I mentioned, you upload some training data, and the LLM will summarize it and give it back. It will not be the same. It will not be the same. Our expectation should not be that, you know, we are going to go to ChatGPT and ask it to describe a Quran surah. It just will not work. You know, I can tell you it will not work. You probably will get 100 different answers 100 times you ask it. And unfortunately, that is the nature.
It's just, I want to share this so
Yeah.
people be careful.
Of
not
course,
to rely
of course.
on this.
A
Good,
normal
very good.
user is not really training ChatGPT.
No.
You're probably training it during the session, but once your session is gone, that information is never permanent.
Actually, no, it is.
No, I've tested it myself.
Not during that time, but that data next training.
In next training session, it goes in.
Well, it takes a lot of power to train.
No, you can do fine
You know
tuning.
what that is.
Yeah.
We will,
3 months. Well,
Assalamu alaikum,
It
we
takes
will
a
wrap
nuclear
up.
generator to start training.
We are going to
Everyone starts
Close the
training.
session and-
this
close
thing
the
will go
session.
up
I
huge.
just wanted to take a moment to recognize our brother Junaid here, who is, I've heard, and I knew you also as just as a Qari, an amazing Qari, but I understand from Hafiz Bhai that you're an AI expert, a professor at Johns Hopkins University. So,
Just
anything,
teaching there, etc.
mashallah, mashallah. Anything you want to add to this whole conversation we had today?
We should do a separate session.
We need his own session, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Mashallah. Inshallah.
No, he has more than
No. I'm just scratching the surface. You know that.
No, I know we didn't cover a bunch of questions. Forgive me for not playing a proper role as a moderator.
I apologize. I kind of like derailed your moderation.
No. I think it was an amazing. May Allah reward you.
Jazakallah for everything.